Tonight on CTV, the Poudre School District has a plan to combat mental health problems in high schoolers.
Plus, CSU is a part of multiple important research projects that could bring massive changes to climate change and weather prediction.
And how students really feel about off-campus housing.
All that and more on CTV starting now.
Good evening, Rams. I'm Ren Wadsworth.
And I'm Ashley Jones-Sykes. Thank you for tuning in with us. Before we get into the show, Kenneth Frederick joins us with some breaking news. Kenneth?
Ashley, due to tomorrow's current forecast, Colorado State University announced earlier this afternoon that all classes and events are canceled. This includes in-person or remote classes for all of Larimer County's campuses. Enjoy the snow day, Rams. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Kenneth. You know, I don't know about you, but I'm personally looking forward to staying home and cuddling with my cat tomorrow.
Me too, absolutely. I'm really glad I'm missing class tomorrow.
Yeah, I bet a lot of students are super glad about the cancellation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the snow is definitely one thing that students don't have to worry about tomorrow. Being a student often means a toll on your mental well-being. Poudre School District is offering support to students through new initiatives for the school year. Studies show that even prior to the pandemic, suicide rates in the Poudre School District had been steadily rising. The new initiative plans to teach students and teachers how to spot and respond to possible warning signs. PSD also intends to add after-school activities to connect and communicate with participants. Whether you're in high school or at the collegiate level, being vigilant of your health and the mental health of those around you is one way to make a more understanding learning environment.
The Larimer County Health Department performs health inspections on many restaurants in Fort Collins. The Las Delicias establishments with points on their inspection are shut down. The Las Delicias meat market is facing closure with a dangerously high 122 points. The College Avenue restaurant also failed the assessment back in 2020 when the department gave them an even higher score of 137. Any restaurants with violations ranging from 0 to 49 pass and continue serving customers. Other restaurants that scored between 50 and 109 points can stay open but are required with re-inspection. It is up to all restaurants in Fort Collins to evaluate their health conditions and adjust to the health department's standards.
Fort Collins, along with many other college towns, are known for having expensive rent. But a city plan aims to change that with new developments. Part of the Fort Collins Affordable Housing Project includes 54 townhomes and an apartment complex in Old Town. Groundbreaking for both projects is estimated to begin this February, with more projects beginning in 2023.
On or near campus has proven very helpful for many people, especially here at CSU. However, many students are saying that sometimes living in a student apartment has its downsides.
Housing is an issue for students all over the country. Issues can come in many forms, from the cost to the quality of living situations. For the former, students here in Fort Collins have had complaints about the price of rent for quite a while.
But I definitely do know that a lot of people struggle with it, and that the prices are pretty extravagant and not very realistic for a lot of people.
So it's like $900 a month, then you pay utilities, parking pass is like $200 or something. So it ends up being like $1,000 plus a month.
When it comes to off-campus housing, Fort Collins has many options to choose from. The district at Campus West is a very popular complex that has recently come under fire in a lawsuit for construction defects. Students don't lay the blame at the feet of everyday staff like janitors and front desk attendants. The blame from residents seems to be aimed at the building's management staff.
I think the staff is mostly younger people, and so I think either there's been some understaffing or maybe they're just newer at this, but I think because of that it hasn't been as efficient as it could have been.
I mean, like, the people that work here are great. Like, the hourlies are like amazing. It's just like the people that manage it and that own the building, like, they basically are trying to make it so that they can find you. Like, it is how it feels as a resident.
Despite your everyday maintenance issues, living close to campus can benefit some students. However, student housing issues range from affordability to safety and quality concerns here in Fort Collins, and that is worrying for many students.
Student housing is changing all the time, and Fort Collins is always adjusting to accommodate students here at CSU.
Students in Denver are learning to grow crops in their school's front yard. Bruce Randolph High School takes a hands-on approach to learning with the Ag Connect pathway. The program encourages education outside of the classroom and focuses on agriculture and cultivation studies. In the garden, students learn how to grow and harvest crops. The addition to the curriculum is Denver Public Schools' attempt to introduce alternative careers opportunities. The food produced by students is donated to surrounding neighbors. Communities around the high school are in what is considered a food desert, and the soil has been polluted past agricultural use. This shows the university is staying true to its goal to educate the state in ag sciences because Ag Connect pathway itself was supported by CSU.
Want to make a difference in your community? Well, now may be your chance to get involved. The Northern Larimer County Health District currently seeks candidates for their upcoming Board of Directors election. Responsible for dental, mental, and preventative health, the district also helps people access affordable health insurance in the county. In order to run, candidates must be at least 18 years old, registered to vote in Colorado, and reside within the district. Currently, there are 4 of the 5 board positions open to run for. Those interested are encouraged to download self-nomination forms at healthdistrict.org/2022 board election. Forms are due February 25th with elections occurring on May 3rd.
Colorado State University researchers are taking climate change research down to the root. Scientists are examining an area of agriculture that has gone overlooked in previous research. Grasslands in America may fill critical gaps researchers have about global warming's effects. The study focuses on droughts and severe flooding through landscape observation.
The major goal of this project is to try to understand how these two extremes in precipitation change may interact to influence carbon uptake in the semi-arid grassland that I'm showing behind me, which is the shortgrass steppe.
Data from the fieldwork will be collected and distributed to other ecological researchers over the next 3 years.
The university's research isn't just within the fields, but also beyond the atmosphere. SpaceX recently launched a satellite sensor known as Tempest D2 to the International Space Station. The sensor is a technology demonstration to show how smaller cost and lower power satellite systems could gather critical data for weather prediction. This device was developed by CSU researchers led by a professor of electrical and computer engineering, Stephen Reesing. According to NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, the device is smaller than a cereal box, but could be game-changing for weather forecasting. After returning from a successful mission just 3 years prior, the sensor is back in orbit and scientists are confident about the weather data it will produce.
Speaking of weather data, we've got Kenneth Frederick coming right up with all you need to know about the weather for this week. Stay tuned.
I am what hunger looks like in America. I am an 8-year-old girl who's not excited for the last day of school. Because this may be the last time I'll have lunch.
Till September.
I am a single father of 2 who works 3 part-time jobs. And that's still not enough to put food on the table. I am a 16-year-old boy who just got my first job to help feed my little sisters. I was created by artificial intelligence from faces of the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew they were hungry.
Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Good evening, Rams. I am Kenneth Frederick, and I will be filling in once again as your Tuesday night weather anchor. We're going to be taking a look at our current conditions right now. As I had mentioned in the breaking news earlier, we're expected to get about 8 to 12 inches of snow over the next few days. Rams, that means you're going to want to have your snow shovels out and your gloves ready to go. Tonight, it's about 13 degrees with a little bit of wind chill coming in from the east at about 11 miles an hour. Sunset tonight was at 5:18. Not that you could have seen it through all of the snow clouds. And precipitation is absolutely covering. It's snowing right now. Looking at campus today, it was a lot of snow as well. It only started lightly drizzling in the afternoon, developing into the larger snowstorms that we are seeing right now tonight and are covering the roads. Roads are not the only thing being covered right now, though. We still have ice left over from last week that is now being piled on top of with snow. This is going to make getting around campus on Thursday when we come back very difficult. And tonight, it's going to get even colder. Fort Collins will be sitting at about 14 degrees later tonight with Denver at 17, Colorado Springs at 10, and Pueblo finishing off the I-25 corridor at 13 degrees. Out across the eastern plains, we're really not going to be getting very warm. Our lowest temperature is at Lyman with 8 degrees, and it doesn't get much hotter than in Lamar with 13, just barely getting above those 10 ranges. And as we're looking across the mountain, it's even colder. Craig experiencing our overnight low at negative 12 degrees. Out across the mountain, it's going to be even colder still with Vail hitting 9, Alamosa hitting 10, Telluride and Gunnison hitting 11, and Grand Junction finishing us off with 16. Will it warm up tomorrow, though? Unfortunately, really not really. It's going to be just barely outside of freezing, Rams. As we're looking across the I-25 corridor, we're going to be 2 under freezing in Fort Collins with 30, Denver at freezing at 32, and just getting slightly warmer as you head a little farther south. Out across the eastern plains, we're seeing some of the warmest temperatures in the state that we will see all day. Sterling hitting 33, Lyman on 34, and Lamar hitting our state high of 41. It really does not get much higher than the low 40s tomorrow, folks, so it will be freezing cold. And taking a look finally at our mountains, or at tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be exceptionally cold with only a high of about 15 degrees and a low of negative 5. I know I will be putting on the thickest ski jacket that I have in my possession because that is ridiculously cold. And looking at the rest of tomorrow, we will be getting snow periodically throughout the day, if not consistently. And our 5-day forecast, it's going to be pretty cold this week, Rams. Wednesday, tomorrow, it's going to be a high of 17 with that negative 4 low. It's going to be snowing pretty much all day. Thursday, we're finally getting a little bit of a break from the snow with just a little bit of cloud cover. Going to be pretty consistent at about 20 degrees, high and low on Thursday. Looking out across the week, we're finally going to start warming up on Friday just a little bit, folks. 32 freezing is going to be our high on Friday with a low of 10 degrees. But worry not, folks. It gets a little bit warmer as that sun stays out with us. Saturday, it's finally going to be 45 with a low of 22. And Sunday, a little bit of cloud cover returns to us, but it's going to stay decently warm at 43 with that low of 21. Well, thank you very much, Rams, for sticking around. That's all I have for you on weather tonight, but be sure to stick around after the break because there's more news.
Awkward. Do I look familiar? I should. You might remember me from here. Here. Or maybe even here.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
It can actually be a perfect moment to reach out to a friend and ask if they're okay if they seem down.
It doesn't matter how you say it.
You alright?
Everything's okay?
Oh, gee.
You alright, girl?
Oh,
You cool?
you bugging dog.
Just show you're there for them.
Go on, Kelly. Seize the awkward.
Hey, you haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back from the break, Rams.
Fort Collins Recreation is getting a new director. Interim Recreations Director Erin Harris was holding down the fort, but Leanne Williams will assume her role as director sometime in February. Williams will be responsible for 10 facilities, a full-time staff, a part-time staff, and an $11 million budget. With a Master's of Science in Physical Education and Exercise and Sports Science, Williams plans to bring her expertise and passion to Fort Collins recreation.
Aging is something that happens to us all, and Colorado State University students are challenging the way we think about it. In a collaboration with CSU and the Department of Art and History, a project was created to unpack the stereotypes behind aging. Named Art and Aging, the exhibition will feature works meant to represent what healthy aging meant to the artists.
One is obviously reconsidering a topic that, or an issue that might not be right now part of what they were thinking about right now. The other thing is realize that painting is not just a medium to make cool, beautiful things that you can hang on top of a couch. It can allow you to actually approach life from a critical perspective, right? And reconsider how you exist here in the world, right?
The exhibit aims to reframe aging as a natural stage of life. Art and Aging will be held from 4 to 6 in the evening in the CSU Health and Medical Center.
Recycling has always been very important to CSU, and Monday officially kicked off the first week of its zero-waste sorting game. From January 31st to March 13th, the game will be available online to test your sorting skills. Housing and Dining remains committed to reducing waste on campus, and students who recycle responsibly help make that possible. Students living in on-campus facilities can play the game with their housing community's eco-leader and potentially earn a prize. To help you with your scores, Housing and Dining has a waste sorting guide on their zero waste page to explain what is and isn't recyclable. To access the game, go to zerowastegame.colorado.edu. Even though it's cold out, that doesn't mean students don't get to partake in outdoor fun activities. Reporter Abby McPhail joins us live in the studio with more on how one group helped distract students from the stresses of the new semester. Abby?
Thank you, Ashley. As many of you are aware, last Wednesday, CSU's campus was basically like being on an ice rink. But if you didn't get enough slipping and sliding from the icy sidewalks, there was another place to put your skating skills to the test. The Resident Hall Association put together a real ice rink in the plaza as a way to give students a chance to chill out between classes.
If you were able to brave the cold last week, you might have noticed an ice skating rink in the plaza. Many Rams laced up a pair of skates and joined in on the fun.
This is Rams on Ice. It is hosted by the Residence Hall Association. We have an ice skating rink, we have free merch, drinks, and a DJ. It's partially for recruitment. It's also a big welcome back to CSU. You know, second week of classes, you're getting back into the swing of things, and we wanted to give everyone at CSU something fun to do.
Although the event only took place for 2 days, there was an army of people who worked to put the rink together.
It's one of the biggest events that we've done in a while. It's taken about 3 months to plan, so we have all sorts of things that came together to make this happen. We had a couple of really big waves. We're almost out of snacks now, and we're only an hour in, and so it's going really well. We have a good turnout for the event.
While the event helped with recruiting for the Residence Hall Association, it also offered Rams a fun break between classes.
There are student funds that go into organizations, so whenever we can do something big and fun, it's always benefiting them, so they have something to get them out on a Thursday or Friday night, go skate, have some fun, and get some free stuff.
This cool way to bring students a unique on-campus experience was a total hit. Rams, don't forget to keep an eye out for more awesome activities hosted by all kinds of organizations here at CSU. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Abby. And that brings us to the end of our news for tonight.
But don't go away just yet. Emily Kozel is up next with the latest on sports.
Queen is just my everything. Right now, I wouldn't know where my life would be without her.
They say chivalry's dead. It's not. Terrence is a gentleman. He opens doors. His smile did it. His smile, his eyes, his knowledge. My landlord, he decided that he wanted me to move based on the fact that I was transgender. It takes me to a place of no hope. It takes me to a place of loneliness. It saddens me. When you discriminate against somebody in housing, where do these people go? Let's just respect people in everyday life for just being human.
What's up, Ram fans? Welcome back to Tuesday Night Sports. I'm your brand new host, Emily Kozel, here to look ahead at the countless things that CSU athletics and the rest of Colorado sports have on tap for the rest of the week. Tonight, I'll be taking a deep dive into what happened to Rams basketball last night up in Laramie and everything else surrounding the program's recent rough patch. All of that and more coming up on Tuesday Night Sports, which starts right now. For our main topic tonight, how could we talk about anything but what's been going on for the green and gold on the hardwood? And most importantly, their recent skid down the Mountain West rankings. But before we get to what's been going on over the past week or so, let's first recap how the Rams have gotten to this point. Now, over the course of the last few weeks, and really since Coach Medved and the crew's COVID-induced break back in mid-December, it's been clear that this team has been out of sync, to say the least. With their first L of the season coming on the road at San Diego State in blowout fashion early on last month, before falling yet again a few weeks later to the UNLV Rebels in what was, yes, yet another lopsided result. The shocking difference here, though, was this awful effort against a below-average conference opponent in the Rebs, which, as most of you can guess, we've already covered extensively over the last couple of days. But even with this L, the Rams had a much more important one to look ahead to come yesterday, where they hope to put that devastating L in the rearview mirror with a much-needed dub over their hated rivals from down the road, the Wyoming Cowboys, battling the Pokes in their place for the first of two matchups for this year's Border War. And now, getting into this one a bit more, to say these teams were evenly matched would probably be the understatement of a lifetime. With the matchup including 10 ties and 16 lead changes, both of these squads couldn't separate whatsoever, with neither gaining more than even a 6-point lead, making it no surprise that yet again another border war came down to the wire, with Wyoming taking the W in heartbreaking fashion, 83-78 in overtime. But before we get into the stats, let's break down a little of the game a little more. While the Rams' performance last night was drastically better than the one they had on Friday, I mean, anything would be, there was definitely still some key aspects of their play that they were lacking. One of which being the super long period of time that the Rams went without scoring in the first half. And to make matters even worse, CSU didn't even get on the board until about 4 minutes in, when the grad student Chandler Jacobs made an easy layup. Unfortunately for Rams fans, this appears to have become a trend as of late for CSU's squad. And while they're known for going on long scoring runs to make up for these gaps, they simply can't keep relying on this style of play when it comes to facing off against these Quad 1 teams like Wyoming. Since coming back after the long COVID break in December, the Rams are yet to score first in a single game. A little bit of a worrying stat, to say the least, if you ask me. And I'll stress it again, in order to keep up with some of the best squads that this conference has to offer, like Wyoming, they have to be more aggressive off the bat and up their first half efficiency, preventing the need to have to go on these extended runs in the first place to close these massive holes that they're digging themselves into. And while CSU put together a much stronger outing in a game that they really needed, you can still see some of the same disconnect that we saw on Friday, especially in the last minute of the contest. With 1:09 left on the clock, the Rams held a slim 69-68 advantage. And jumping to a bit later in the half, after a missed three-point jumper from Wyoming's Jake Jeffries, with about 40 seconds left, it was looking like the Rams finally had a chance to secure the W. But in an attempt to work the clock a little bit too much, Isaiah Stevens was a little late releasing the ball, which resulted in a shot clock violation for the road team. And things got even worse for the green and gold after that, with Kendall Moore committing a foul with 6 seconds left to allow Graham Ike to shoot two from the line and give Wyoming a 1-point lead
But luckily for CSU faithful, with about a second left of regulation, Drake Jeffries bailed the Rams out, fouling David Roddy and sending him to the line for a 1-and-1 shot. And most importantly, a chance to seal one at the last second. Roddy made the first one, tying things up, but the second one wasn't so lucky, sending the game into overtime. And in the extra period, it was Wyoming who was able to make better use of those extra 5 minutes, scoring 14 to CSU's 8 and securing the 84-78 win. Now, returning back to the stats, it was Wyoming that led in almost every category except for steals and assists. While CSU did raise both their field goal and three-point percentage from Friday, it was still lower than usual and didn't compare to the Pokes' 52.8% from the field and 42.9% from the arc. The Rams also had an uncharacteristically low free throw percentage at 72.7%, which proved to be costly. And when you look at the scorer sheet, like usual, junior guard David Roddy secured the team a high of 23, while his classmate Isaiah Stevens was right behind him with 17. While the Pokes were led by none other than star guard Hunter Madaldo, who scored 35 points and went 10 for 11 on free throws. And yet another disappointing L for the Rams, returning to Moby for the annual Orange Out game this Friday against San Diego State. We all know what happened last time when the Rams visited Vejas Arena earlier this season, and I'm sure that they're looking for some revenge against this fellow conference rival. They need this one for sure. And with that, Rams fans, that's all the sports actions I have for you tonight. Be sure to tune in on Thursday for yet another news show and enjoy your snow day. Stay safe, and we'll see you then.